WCBI News at 10 starts now.
It was an emotional evening in Brookhaven today as hundreds gathered to celebrate the life of Officer James White. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Quentin Smith. Family members, friends, and colleagues all attended White's funeral today. The 35-year-old was a patrolman with the Brookhaven Police Department. White and 31-year-old Corporal Zach Moak died from gunshot wounds on Saturday after responding to a call. During today's service, Governor Phil Bryant awarded the Mississippi Medal of Valor to the fallen officer.
This is your father's army, and we will never give up. We will never stop fighting, and we will never surrender, ever. Because this is what God has chosen for us to do. Your father will never be forgotten. And when y'all get lonely, stop and talk to us, and we'll be there for you.
I'm sorry I did not know James White, because these are the people that you want to be close to. People who care, people who serve, people who would lay down their lives for their friends.
White first joined the Brookhaven Police Department back in 2015. He leaves behind 2 sons and a fiance. Well, new tonight, we're getting a look at the woman accused of giving unauthorized discounts to a city leader in Columbus. On your TV screen is Sharon Smith. She's accused of felony embezzlement. Investigators believe Smith is accused of giving seven customers discounts at the bargain hunt store, including Councilman Stephen Jones and his wife. At this time, Jones is not expected to be charged because of a company policy by Bargain Hunt to only charge the employee. Attorney General Jim Hood is ready to run for higher office. Earlier today, he announced his intentions to run for governor in a press conference in his hometown of Houston, Mississippi. Courtney Ann Jackson has reaction.
The announcement didn't take anyone by surprise, but with this,
come for you humbly today and announce our campaign for governor of the state of Mississippi.
Hood made it a point to not just align himself with the Democrats.
I've been encouraged by over 100 Republicans to get out here and run, and Democrats as well. And so I think there's some good undercurrents out there. There's a fresh breeze in the air for change.
As for priorities, Hood says they will be creating jobs, rebuilding the state's infrastructure, pushing for universal preschool, and making health care more affordable and accessible.
I'm a lawyer, but it doesn't take much of an economist to figure out that roads and schools is an economic building block.
Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves is also expected to make a gubernatorial announcement. His office today said he would not be commenting on Hood's announcement, but fellow Republicans are already asking voters to question Hood.
Who's going to support Jim Hood? Jim Hood's going to be supported financially by the same left-wing national groups that are working so hard right now to derail the confirmation process in the U.S. Senate of Judge Kavanaugh, and that's extremely important for voters to know.
In the latest polling by Millsaps College and pro-Democratic pollster Chisholm Strategies, approval ratings of both Hood and Reeves are included. Hood has a 50-27 split, with half of those polled approving of him, while Reeves has a more even distribution of those approving and disapproving, just 37% approval rating. It's that broad appeal for Hood that has other Democrats fired up about the announcement.
You know, he happens to be a Democrat, even a Republican. You know, we all would be excited about Jim Hood because he's that type of man who we know. His heart is right, his mind is right.
The idea of annexation isn't dead just yet in Starkville. In fact, the city's expansion plan was a topic of discussion at Tuesday's Board of Aldermen meeting. Now, while some believes there's no need to expand the city's borders, others felt the annexation proposal covered too much area. So, city leaders voted to have a search firm take another look at the numbers and narrow down the scope. Mayor Lynn Spruill says the area they narrowed it down to is the Highway 182 corridor. Spruill says that's the focus area because that's where the city's growth has been in the last 10 years.
I have always thought that Starkville's growth is important, and I see us growing without being able to have a say-so in some of the things that are developing. So I think this annexation process is actually getting a little bit behind. I think we should have done it earlier so that we could control some of the development that we've had in town or had in the area.
Mayor Spruill believes the annexation will not only be positive for the city, but also those residents because they would receive city benefits. The Fulton Chamber of Commerce is shutting down after aldermen stopped paying for the agency's leader. The city's budget omitted the $36,000 contribution that paid for the salary of Chamber Executive Director Mary Sue Boggs. Now, city leaders say they were not pleased with how profits from the Bluegrass, Blues, and Barbecue Festival were used. The city still plans to hold festivals and other events, and there are plans to hire someone to promote its city and its events. And it is now time to turn our attention over to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by with a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Quentin, right now we have a quiet evening developing, or continuing, I guess I should say. Temperatures well into the 70s. A little bit cooler in some spots, a little bit warmer in other locations here, but widespread 70s, clear skies will continue. Lows tonight down into the upper 60s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and hot. We should be around 80 or the upper 70s, not necessarily 90 or 91. Winds from the south at 5 to 10. So a pretty warm day for October, and that trend will continue. More on that in just a few minutes.
Thanks so much, Keith. One of the biggest moneymakers in Mississippi doesn't happen on Main Street. Get this, it's part of the ag economy that many business owners are finding profitable. Our Blair Schaefer explains why.
Are you ready for this? I'm hitting the jackpot, I feel it. This is what hunters across the state are doing as well. Whether it's planting their fields, practicing their aim, or getting their licenses, hunters everywhere are getting ready. And SportsCenter's archery head, Slade Fancher, is no different. He says stalking what people want is the main priority.
A lot of people that come here and hunt, and your local guys in your deer camps and getting ready at food plots and stuff. So definitely this time of year, fall up to Christmas, the hunting and our inventory is a big part of what we do here at the Sports Center.
That inventory is part of over the $25 billion that hunting brings into the state. And success often breeds success. More people getting into the hobby leads to more landowners producing better hunting grounds.
A lot of people hunt in Mississippi, and so you're getting a lot of stuff going on like what we're doing here, planting our green fields, and there's probably 10 acres that we plant, which is a lot of seed and a lot of fertilizers.
The amount of product needed to produce fruitful fields is no bother to Frank Jones. Jones has been buying seed locally for years and understands the positive impact it has on the community.
We buy our seed, our fertilizer, a lot of times our chemicals from the county co-op here in Starkville. Of course, you imagine all the shells and things like that these hunting stores sell this time of year. So it's pretty big economic impact for the town.
With dove season coming to an end, new land construction must begin. Matt Jones is one of the many who have been putting in the work to stay ready for all seasons.
Past few days we've been bush hogging and cleaning up all these fields, and now we're switching to drilling the seed in and throwing some more seed on top of that to get them planted.
That was our Blair Schaefer reporting there. Now, a couple of useful websites for outdoor enthusiasts in the state are Visit Mississippi and the Mississippi Wildlife and Fisheries Department. 8th graders from all across Northeast Mississippi are being encouraged to dream big at a unique career expo. The 4th annual Imagine the Possibilities Career Expo is now underway at the Bancorp South Arena and Conference Center. More than 130 businesses and organizations are taking part in having hands-on, interactive booths and exhibits for the students to tour. It's a chance for 8th graders to learn about different opportunities in a variety of possible career fields, all under one roof.
The 8th grade is a pretty pivotal time in their schooling, where they're just starting to think about what they might want to do, and in particular this year they'll have to be deciding what their course schedule is going to be in high school. And so that's important if they're going to be in medicine or some area that they get on the sciences and math early on.
And the expo wraps up on Thursday. This week's Educator of the Week would rather go to a game and support her students than see her own story on TV. Marion Beals teaches the 8th grade at Choctaw County High School. She's found that common ground and shared interests go a long way in building bonds with students. And to put it simply, whether it's video games or sports, Beals likes whatever they like.
It doesn't matter if they're an athlete, a band member, or a book nerd. I love them all, and you have to take an interest in each and every kid, because if you don't, they won't.
And if you would like to nominate your favorite teacher, just visit WCBI.com.
Here's our off insurance time lapse from downtown Columbus today. You can see some of these friendly cumulus clouds. I think we'll just repeat this performance again tomorrow. Your warm 7-day forecast is next.
WCBI's Educator of the Week is brought to you by Food Giant, where your neighbors are the owners. Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Big time boomers up here across the upper Midwest, Wisconsin, Michigan, stretching all the way down into Kansas. Heavy rain, some gusty winds, some hail reported up there. No tornadoes today, at least officially, but more severe weather is possible in a little narrow area out there in the high plains tomorrow on Thursday, and then stretching back from the plains into the Great Lakes there on Friday. That is well displaced from our region. However, eventually we will see more storms around here. It's always good to be prepared and to spot some storms. You may want to go to one of these spotted training courses. The next one in Okolona tomorrow evening at 6:30 at the auditorium. The National Weather Service in Memphis coming on down, putting that on. So venture on out if you want to learn more about storms. Nothing like that today. There's our Off Insurance camera network, and you can see we had a fair weather day. Lots of sunshine, some friendly cumulus clouds. Looking for cooler air. Keep on dreaming here, folks. It is locked up across the northern plains, the northern Rockies, and Canada. Some of that's trying to come on down, but we just have this big blocking high down here in the southeast pushing all of that away. So we will be trending above average for the next 7, maybe 10 days here during the day, about 10 degrees above the average during our afternoons and about 10 plus above average at night, give or take here. So a warm stretch of weather coming our way. Again, we mentioned earlier we're in the 70s. We got 80s, 30s up there in the Dakotas and Montana. That's where the fall-like weather is going to be. For us, upper 60s in most spots. Some of you in those cooler spots may get down into the mid-60s. And much like today, we're looking at 69 at 7 o'clock, 87 at noon, 91 at 4 o'clock, and some upper 70s early in the evening. Here's our city-by-city forecast. Widespread low 90s or upper 80s. The heat index could get up to about 95 here. We're going to keep that rain chance at 0. Some of these computer models suggesting there could be a pop-up shower storm over the next couple of days, but at this point, not a lot of evidence to support any widespread activity, so we'll keep the forecast dry here locally, but a pretty warm Saturday. Wouldn't it be nice if tomorrow was Saturday? Thursday here, but all the active weather should be staying back to the northwest here in the near term. We may start to see some moisture try to creep on back on in here as we get into the weekend and beyond. Easy for me to say here tonight, I guess, but we'll keep it dry for Thursday, Friday. A 20% chance of rain Saturday, Sunday into next week. Above average temperatures, Quentin, for the next 7 days.
A national investigation is hitting a little too close to home. Tom has the highlights coming up later in sports. Welcome back. Clinics and emergency rooms are already starting to see flu cases come through the doors, and some think we may be in for a nasty flu season. But there is something you can do to protect yourself. We find out more in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lee Richardson, a physician in the emergency room at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight I would like to talk to you about the flu vaccination. The single best way to prevent seasonal flu is to get vaccinated each year. Yearly flu vaccination should begin as soon as the vaccine is available. Most of the time the flu peaks between December and February. It takes about 2 weeks after vaccination for antibodies to develop in the body that protect it against the flu infection. The CDC recommends getting your flu shot by the end of October. We're already seeing patients testing positive for the flu in the ER. Everyone 6 months of age or older should get the flu vaccine every year, especially those at high risk such as people with chronic pulmonary disease such as asthma, cardiovascular except hypertension, renal, hepatic, neurologic, hematologic, or metabolic disorders including diabetes, and people who are immunosuppressed, including those with HIV. You should also not get a flu shot if you have a severe life-threatening allergy to any of the ingredients in the vaccine, especially eggs. The flu shot cannot give you the flu. The flu vaccine that is administered with a needle is made either of flu vaccine viruses that are inactive or not infectious, or with no flu vaccine viruses at all. If you get flu-like symptoms, you may have other respiratory virus besides flu, or you were exposed to the flu shortly before getting vaccinated or during the 2-week period after vaccination. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, where we will discuss some common sense ways to keep from catching the flu.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
Our Student Athlete of the Week plays a big role in helping Boonville remain perfect. More from Dallas Gamble next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Emmel.
At the halfway point of the high school football season, the Boonville Blue Devils are one of the only undefeated teams remaining in our area. One big reason for that success comes from senior athlete Dallas Gamble. Gamble has paved the way for the Blue Devils to make some noise during the home stretch. Our Jonathan Flippo has more with our Student Athlete of the Week.
Go! Once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. That's the way it's been for senior athlete Dallas Gamble his whole school career.
The journey's been real, and I just love Boonville. I love the tradition here, and I love the kids here that look up to me and the older kids that think a lot of me. And I like the guys that paved the way before me, that played before me here out here in Boonville High.
Gamble is a three-sport athlete, playing football, basketball, and running track. And his performance off the field is just as impressive, maintaining a 3.5 grade point average.
It's been getting easy on my long ride here, but it's just like you just got to have time, like after practice, that's when you got to really just lock in. And in school, you got to always just stay focused.
But Dallas's dedication doesn't stop at school. He's also involved with the community and church organizations. Coaches and teammates also know what they can expect from him.
He's really involved with FCA. You know, we have canned food drives. He gets involved with all those activities. He goes and reads to the kids at Anderson, the elementary school. So he's kind of a good spokesman and a good leader, you know, within the school system as well as out here.
He's good encouragement, good leader in the classroom. He good. He want to make good grades all the time, just for an athlete, for him to have scholarships and stuff.
Each Friday before game time, Gamble has a tradition, a ritual to get him motivated before he plays under the lights.
I actually read my Bible, and I read a chapter a day before my game, and I pray before my game, and I listen to some pump music before a game.
Dallas is already looking past graduation. He's got his sights set on playing at the next level, looking at 5 possible colleges. But his professional career may take him to the sidelines as a sportscaster. The inspiration comes from close to home.
I saw A.J. Brown. I really look up to him. He's from Ole Miss, but I'm not an Ole Miss fan, but I like him, though. I like his game, the way he plays it. I got that sports broadcasting from A.J. Brown.
Dallas and the Boonville Blue Devils go for a 7th straight win on Friday at home against Alcorn Central. Reporting in Boonville, Jonathan Flippo, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Student Athlete of the Week with Jonathan Flippo is brought to you by C-Spire, customer inspired.
Just about a month until tip-off of the college basketball season, and expectations are high for Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are expected to start inside the top 25 to begin the year, with top players returning and adding McDonald's All-American Reggie Perry and Mississippi Gatorade Player of the Year Robert Woodard. Head coach Ben Hallen hopes to prepare his team for that bullseye that comes with the ranking.
It's really nice
and it brings, I think a lot of excitement for our fans, and it's been exciting for our players, but you still got to go out and earn it. You got to prove yourself every day. And, those rankings mean nothing once the ball is tipped. All it does is put a bigger bullseye in your chest for other people. And it's easier fodder for a coach to say, oh, yeah, they're really good. I mean, look, they've been, the whole thing. So that's kind of how we'll handle it.
Shortly after Howland spoke with the media, one of its returning stars' names popped up in a national investigation. In the federal investigation into fraud in college basketball, Yahoo Sports' Dan Wetzel reports that Mississippi State junior guard Lamar Peters' name has been listed as someone who possibly received financial payments. Wetzel reported that the court documents alleges a proposed $2,500 a month went to Peters. Documents also suggest former Alabama guard Colin Sexton was paid $5,000 with an additional $1,500 a month for Sexton. The federal trial began on Tuesday. That's stemming from college programs being investigated for high-profile shoe companies getting involved with AAU circuit. The court documents have not yet been made available. We'll have a last secure forecast coming up next.
I know everybody seems to be fed up with this heat and humidity, Quentin.
Including me. I'm fed
I
up.
know. Where's fall? Come on now. More 90s for the next couple of days. Limited rain chances here. We stay warm.
And we no rain in the forecast either, is it?
Not a lot.
It's a win-win. Have a good night, everyone.